Welcome to the Gym Success Podcast. We're really glad you're joining us today. Whether you're a gym owner, maybe an operator, manager, salesperson, a gym entrepreneur, or perhaps a personal trainer. And hey, for you folks out there looking to open a new gym or maybe acquire one, or if you just need some working capital, we can help provide funding options up to 500K. It's unsecured, importantly, and there are no restrictions on how you use it. You can check us out at fmconsulting.net. I'm Bonnie.
And I'm George, and today we're going to be taking you through a really crucial white paper by jthomas. It's titled Unsecured Gym Loans, Why Funding Matters More Than Ever. Our goal here is to give you some actionable insights, things that can genuinely impact your business.
That's right. Get ready, because we're going to unpack some really vital information today that honestly could be the game changer you've been looking for. Okay, so let's dive right in. jthomas starts this paper, right, by highlighting something key in the fitness industry. Speed. Speed is everything. What's he really getting at there? And, why is access to capital so critical now for gym owners?
Yeah, it's a great starting point, actually, because it grounds us immediately in the reality of the fitness market. It's incredibly dynamic. Markets can shift almost overnight. Competitors pop up, they get aggressive, and member expectations are constantly evolving. So if you're a gym owner, you really need to be agile. The paper argues pretty strongly that the ability to scale your business, or even just avoid getting, stuck, it often hinges on just one thing: how quickly you can get your hands on capital. It's really about matching the pace of the industry itself, not, the slow grind you often get with traditional banks.
That makes a lot of sense. So whether you're suddenly facing a cash crunch or maybe trying to meet payroll, planning a big expansion, perhaps eyeing an acquisition, or even just needing to upgrade that old equipment, the paper suggests those traditional routes might just not cut it anymore. Which naturally raises a pretty important question then. What exactly is unsecured funding? How does it work?
Right, and this is where it gets really interesting for our listeners, I think. Unsecured funding is simply financing that doesn't require collateral. Unlike, say, a typical bank loan where maybe your property or your equipment or even your lease might be held as security, unsecured loans rely primarily on your creditworthiness and your income.
Ah, okay. That sounds like it would be a huge relief for a lot of gym owners, the ones worried about putting their hard-earned assets on the line. So what are the key advantages the paper highlights?
The advantages are, they're quite compelling, especially for the fitness industry. First off, no restrictions on use. You can literally use the funds for anything: marketing, payroll, renovations, buying new treadmills, hiring staff, expanding, acquiring another gym, anything. That flexibility is just huge.
Wow, okay.
And second, no risk to your assets. Your facility, your equipment, it all remains yours. It's safe, not collateralized. Big peace of mind there.
And the speed factor we mentioned.
Yes. Fast turnaround. We're talking often same-day pre-approval. And the funds themselves, usually within 7 to 10 days. That's the kind of speed the industry really demands, right?
Definitely.
Then there's the simple application process. Minimal paperwork. Cuts down on time, cuts down on hassle. Also, high approval odds, even if maybe you don't qualify personally. The paper notes that co-signers are welcome, and actually quite common.
That's good to know.
And finally, maybe the best part: no cost to apply. It's a completely risk-free pre-qualification process. See what you might get.
And what kind of funding range are we typically looking at here? Is it substantial?
Yeah, typically funding ranges from around $50,000 up to over $500,000. So that's a significant amount of capital. It can really change the trajectory of a gym business.
That's a really powerful set of advantages.
Yeah.
But okay, now the big question that I'm sure many of our listeners are thinking: who actually qualifies for this kind of funding? Is it as complicated as they might imagine?
The paper makes it pretty clear it's simpler than many people think. Most unsecured gym funding programs really boil down to 3 basic criteria. First, your personal credit score. Generally, you'll need a 680 or higher, and that's across all 3 major credit bureaus: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion.
Okay, 680 or higher.
Second, personal income. You need to show at least $50,000 annually for the 2 most recent years, and that's usually verified with tax returns.
Got it. 2 years, 50K minimum.
Then third, residency. You need to have U.S. citizenship or be a permanent resident.
Right.
So those are pretty much the baseline requirements.
Okay, so those are the baseline points. But what happens if a gym operator, someone who's maybe great at running their gym, really knows their stuff, doesn't quite meet those exact requirements? Perhaps their credit score is just a little shy, or maybe their income looks lower on paper for some reason. Is funding still an option then?
That's a really important question, actually. And the paper addresses this head on.
Yeah.
It states that, look, not every great operator meets these precise requirements, But funding is absolutely not off the table.
Yeah.
There are basically two main alternative paths they highlight.
Okay.
First is the cosigner option. If you have someone, a partner, spouse, family member, who is creditworthy and meets those criteria, they can cosign. That can make approval possible.
Yeah.
In fact, the paper says something like 20–30% of approvals happen this way. So it's a very common and effective route.
Wow, up to 30%. Okay.
Exactly. The second path is bank statement funding. Now, this is interesting because many lenders are willing to fund based solely on the last 6 months of your gym's bank statements. They're looking for specific indicators of business health there. Things like consistent monthly revenue, making sure there are no daily negative balances, no NSF charges, non-sufficient funds, and no major sudden account depletions. It shows the business itself is stable.
That's really a critical point for our listeners, I think, especially if maybe they prefer not to provide tax returns or if that personal credit score is just a bit under the 680 mark. It really sounds like there are flexible options available.
Absolutely. There are ways forward.
So, okay, we've covered what it is, who qualifies, but when should a gym owner or operator actually think about using this type of funding? Is it just for putting out fires, emergencies, or is there a bigger, more strategic picture here?
Well, connecting back to that bigger picture, the paper really emphasizes that funding isn't just about emergencies. It's fundamentally about enabling growth and agility.
Mhm.
It lays out several pretty clear scenarios where unsecured capital is actually a really smart, proactive move.
Like what, for example?
Okay, so one obvious one is to cover payroll or rent during a cash crunch. Keeps staff morale up, keeps the doors open,
Yeah.
stabilizes things. Another big one, renovate or upgrade equipment. The paper points out pretty bluntly, actually, that outdated facilities are one of the fastest ways to lose members. So true.
Yeah, you see that happen.
Definitely. Or maybe you want to add new services. Launch personal training or nutrition programs, maybe recovery services, things that boost retention and revenue. For bigger moves, maybe you want to acquire another gym. Fast access to capital gives you that confidence, that ability to act quickly when an opportunity pops up.
Right, seize the moment.
Exactly. Or even open a second location. Expand your footprint, start to dominate your local market. These are all growth moves fueled by accessible capital.
It's really clear this isn't just a safety net then, but it can be a springboard, a tool for expansion and staying competitive.
That's the core message, yeah.
Okay, now this part I found really interesting. The paper talks about the golden rule. What's the biggest mistake gym owners make when it comes to funding, according to Jim Thomas? What's this rule about?
The golden rule. It's simple, but so important. The biggest mistake, the paper argues, is disqualifying themselves before they even try. So many owners think, oh, my credit isn't perfect, or I probably don't make enough, or even, the process will be too complicated. They talk themselves out of it.
Yeah, I can see that happening. Fear of rejection, maybe.
Exactly. Or just assuming it's harder than it is. But the truth, as the paper states, is it costs absolutely nothing to apply. Zero risk. That same day pre-qualification gives you clarity. You might be really surprised at what you're actually eligible for, or find out one of those alternative paths works perfectly. Don't self-select out.
That's such a powerful message for everyone listening. Just overcome those internal doubts, those assumptions, and at least explore the possibilities. Find out for sure.
Precisely. If we kind of connect all this to the bigger picture, the white paper really boils down to this.
Yeah.
Capital is fuel. And in the gym business, speed wins. If you can solve problems faster, if you can implement new ideas quicker, seize those opportunities with agility, well, you're already ahead of most of your competitors. So unsecured non-bank funding isn't just about survival. It's really about scaling, seizing opportunities, and positioning yourself as a dominant force in your market.
So thinking about what this all means for you, the listener, whether you're just starting out or maybe you're growing an established brand, the right funding, secured at the right time, really can change everything for your business.
So maybe consider this thought. In an industry that's so driven by trends and competition, could your ability to quickly access capital for growth or for innovation be your most underutilized competitive advantage right now?
That really wraps up our look into Jim Thomas's white paper on unsecured gym loans. What a fantastic resource, honestly. So many practical takeaways.
Absolutely. The insights there are truly actionable for anyone running a gym.
And if you're listening and you're unsure where to begin, or maybe you just want to talk through how funding could specifically help your gym, you can contact Jim Thomas directly. His number is 214-629-7223, or you can email him at jthomas@fmconsulting.net. Again, that's 214-629-7223 or jthomas@fmconsulting.net. And of course, a big thank you to our sponsor, Gym Business Manager. They provide truly the best gym software in the industry. Do check them out at gymbusinessmanager.com. Thanks so much for joining us on the Gym Success Podcast today. We really hope this discussion helps you move your business forward. We'll catch you next time.